Hello and welcome to Question Time with me, Jack Hogan.
And me, Oyen Fawowe. We hope you've enjoyed the 12-hour live stream so far.
In the final countdown, we have a studio audience to help us question the candidates in this student union elections.
I'll be asking all of you people watching here and at home your opinions on the show. You can follow the discussion on social media at BCUSU and hashtag BCUSUVotes.
We've had a look at all of the manifestos your candidates have prepared, and this is one of their final opportunities to speak to you before voting opens on Monday.
The show will be quite simple. Part-time officers and full-time officers will each have 30 seconds to explain why you, the students at the universities, should vote for them.
We will ask the audience at home, here in the studio, and our own special questions to the candidates.
Before we begin, you may have seen online that there's a position at NUS delegate.
So the NUS delegate, for those of you who don't know, is where the elected officer will represent BCU at a national level at the NUS conference.
Are you ready, everyone?
Let's begin the show.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you very much. Let me go my keypads.
I think I'll go.
Here we go.
I would.
Bye, Vinny. Oh, let me tell that. That's mine. Thank you.
First of all, let's welcome... we begin with the full-time officer position at Student Voice. This role encourages student representation, runs education campaigns and shapes democracy in the students here at BCU. The candidate has 30 seconds to answer their question and pitch to them. So Kath is our first candidate and she has 30 seconds to pitch to you. There is your mic, Kath. And your 30 seconds starts now.
Hello everybody, I'm Kath. I'm standing for your voice. A lot of you would have seen me around and a lot of you will know who I am. I've had 2 years experience here as a student rep. I've always done what I've promised to do. And again, I'm running for voice. I'd need your votes. If you want your voice heard, speak to me. I'll do what I can for you. I always try to deliver what I promise. You'll see my manifesto on Facebook and on Twitter.
Thank you very much, Kath. Let's go over to Oyen on the floor.
Hi. So, does anybody have any questions? No? Are we still fresh thinking about this? Pondering? That's all right. I have a question. I don't really remember your manifesto. However, what is the number one thing you do when you move in, if you got the position? Just saying, potential.
Fine. If I come in, I want to work with the SALs, the student academic leaders. We need to encourage more interaction between the students and the academic leaders, which is going to make your voice heard. I've sat on many different boards. Those boards all listen to what you want. We get feedback from them so we can feed it back to you. If you don't speak, the university will stay as it is and nothing will ever be done.
Okay, Kath, how would you plan to develop the role of school reps with greater power to influence change?
The greater power to influence change is to actually make the SALs stand out more. If we give them a platform they can actually broadcast from, whether they attend the meetings, we'd have more interaction with meetings. I'd be able to get drop-in centres running. So if we was able to do a drop-in centre for students to go and see the SALs, say once a month, I think that would be better, and then people identify who their SALs are.
Some really interesting points there. Oyen is over in our social media centre. Oyen, what's going on in social media?
So, as you can imagine, we just started, so I'm running on 2 tweets right now. But one of them is about something else, whoever Fliss is, we'll see you later. But the other one's saying, I mean, is this relevant? Failed bus trial cost us SU 50,000 as a student voice rep. We're just going to pause, just because I feel like I should be the centre of attention.
We're going over to the TV, because we've got some lovely tweets over there.
I mean, are they relevant? I don't know. We're about to find out. So, this one says, the failed bus trial cost the SU 50,000. Would this not be money better spent elsewhere, considering the service wasn't used? Do you have a response to that? You can say no, it's fine.
Unfortunately, all I can say on that is if the students had used the bus service, would it have been a deficit? the student service put on for you, and you students didn't take the opportunity to use what was offered. Unfortunately, if you're going to ask for things and not take what's offered, where can we go for you? Again, it's up to you. You've got to interact with the student union. It's up to the students to come forward and have yourselves heard, and people will work for you and help you, and it's up to you to make the benefit of what you offered.
I like that. Could we get an applause? Can we get an applause, guys? Thank you very much.
Ian, is there anything else over at social media?
I'm going to be honest and say no.
Excellent. Now we move on to our next debate, which is the Vice President for Engagement role. Student engagement removes barriers to improve engagement and develops a presence in each campus. So first of all, we're going to get the candidates and invite them in on, and they will each have 30 seconds exactly to pitch. Now, the BCUSU Elections Committee met earlier this week, and they decided which order via they put all the names into a hat, they picked it out, and whatever order it landed in is what order this is going to be now. So the Vice President for Engagement candidates can all come on stage now. And we start off with Emma. Emma, your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a student from the Conservatoire. I've been there for 4.5 years, so I know how small campuses work because it's very different to the large campuses. I believe that engagement means we need someone from a small campus because it is for representing the small campuses. I'm keen to help engage the campuses that haven't been engaged, especially the Conservatoire and City North, because they've only got a year left before they move, so it's going to be a very difficult time for them. I want to increase cross-campus collaboration and promote events at each campus.
I'm really sorry, but that is 30 seconds up, so it's all fair. We move on next to Molly. Molly, your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm from City North. I want to make sure services for support are at all campuses, but tailored for you. My 3 points on my manifesto was I want to create an online forum. So if you've got any issues, you can post there on 24/7. So you don't have to go to different campuses if you need any support. I want more SU representatives and ensure small campuses are involved in any big decisions made at university level. Vote tailored for you. Thank you.
Excellent, and that is your 30 seconds up as well. Are you ready? Yeah. Excellent. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi, I'm Fliss, and the reason I'm running for student engagement is because I'm from a small campus at Margaret Street. I know how it all works. I know how we don't really engage with the rest of the university or with the SU at that either. My first point is I want to create a free inter-campus transport to make it easier for students to go in between campuses. My second is to make equipment and facilities more accessible and collaboration a lot easier. My third is to create a bespoke...
And I'm sorry, but that is your 30 seconds as well. So, Harry, are you ready? Yeah. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, so I'm Harry, and the main 3 points on my manifesto are that I want to have exhibitions across course for under-designed students so that everyone can see their craft and understand what they do. I want funded recitals, so I want to get conservatoire musicians in to do gigs and concerts during lunchtime to entertain students. And I want to make a SU emergency call-out service where students that need immediate support from the Students' Union can just call someone out, and much like a paramedic attends a medical emergency, the SU will come out and back them up.
And that's 30 seconds up, so we move on to our final candidate who is here tonight. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi guys, I hope you guys are okay. My name is Nehanshu Saini, your current postgraduate and mature student officer, and I'm going for this role because I feel myself as competent to solve all your problems through a coordinated team that can actually provide assistance to each and every student at all campuses at all level, undergrads, postgrads, international, mature, doesn't matter. We are going to...
Excellent, that's 30 seconds up. Right, Ian. Well done, guys. Ian's on the floor. Let's go over and see if anybody has any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Come on, guys. I had faith in you when you came in the door. Now, you have a question. Can I come to this guy? Yeah, let's go for it. Hi.
So I want to know a little bit more about this emergency system for the SU, a bit like a paramedic.
That's so funny. I wanted to know more too. That's crazy. Yep.
So basically,
thank you.
So basically, policy-related emergencies where you might have a confrontation with a member of staff and you want the SU there to back you up. You could just call this line and it'd be 24 hours and someone would come out to support you and back you up, because sometimes students get nervous when talking to tutors and they don't know whether they're in the right or the wrong, or whether the tutors are following policy or not. So it'd be like that basically.
Excellent. Is there any more questions on the floor?
Oh, are we doing more? Let's do some more. Anybody else got some more
Anybody
questions?
else have anything else to any of the
Come
other
on, guys,
candidates?
just throw them out there. Whatever's in your head. Not everything that's in your head, but Chalo, here you go.
With students about it. How are you going to tackle that? You're saying that you're going to help the postgraduate student. What do you mean by that? What kind of help you're going to be available over there?
Basically, the postgraduate students came over here for their education is like from 12 months, 15 months or 18 months. So these students, they are more focused on their academic than on social. So as a mature officer, I started a scheme which is called International Student Buddy Scheme. Right now, that scheme is only focusing on international, but we are trying to make it more advanced, taking it to even for the home students. So if the postgraduate students, they have some queries regarding their academics or about their social life, they can actually get an assistance directly from another students. So it's more like a student-to-student mentorship. And not only student, this scheme is also going to involve the faculty itself. So if they have some queries regarding their regarding any subjects or regarding any module, these students can actually direct communicate to the faculties, which can be worked as like a provisional classes or a tutorials. That's how I'm going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have a question which we have prepared for you. We want to know about how you plan to gather the voice and opinions from all of the smaller campuses. And Molly, you are first to answer this, and you'll have 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's most important to go and find out what the students actually want. It's all right just assuming what needs they need at different campuses. We need to go to the different campuses because they have different problems, different issues. So we need to go and talk to the students directly and see what they want for the future of BCU.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Emma, you are next to answer this question. So how would you plan to gather the voice and opinions from the smaller campuses?
Well, I agree that we need to go to each individual campus because it is very easy to just say, oh, we've got 3 campuses in the centre, that's the majority of our students, we'll talk to them. But each campus has such a different experience. Like the Conservatoire is a completely different course to any other. I only use that as an example because that's mine. But I would spend as much time at each campus as I possibly could, just to get to know the students so they felt comfortable to talk to me.
Excellent, thank you very much. Felicity, you are next to answer this question. So how do you plan to gather the voice and opinions from the small campuses?
Well, I agree it's quite important to go and talk to them directly, but also there are some situations where they feel like they can't actually voice it to anyone. So I think something anonymously, like a forum or something that they could actually go to instead of actually talking to someone firsthand, they might find that a little bit easier.
Excellent. And if we go to the end, and you have 30 seconds as well to tell us about how you plan to gather the voice and opinions of the students
First
in
of
small
all,
campuses.
Seni. So practically speaking, 5 days a week and from 10 to 5, that will be the job of a engagement officer. Yes, the first responsibility is to visit their campuses, but apart from visiting each and every campuses, what if we include a team from every campus, which is called like engagement team, which has already been started? What if we just carry on, for the next year also in every campuses, even the BCUIC, Margaret Street, and Conservatoire, and this team will going to liaise the student and the student union officers.
And
Thank you.
that's your 30 seconds. And last but not least, how do you plan to gather the voice and opinions from the smaller campuses?
Well, the way I see it, people don't really talk to the Students' Union unless they feel like it's relevant to them. So for me, I'd want to change the presence a little bit so it's more dynamic and makes them want to come to us rather than trying to ask them to come to us, if you know what I mean. So I'd put on like activities every week and get the people to come in, so it's if you want to get them to talk to you, you need to like distract them basically and get them to do sort of things that they want to do on campus.
I have a question for all of you about that. As you said, the Students' Union being relevant to the small campuses, how do you plan then to make it relevant? Do you want to start with that one? And we'll open it up to all of you as a little debate. So how do you plan to make the Students' Union relevant?
Is this just still for small campuses or for all?
Yeah, well, as part of the role, in terms of, obviously we're talking about small campuses, feeling the Student Union isn't relevant, or some students may see that. How do you plan to change that?
Well, basically the thing is, all the student kind of demographics are different at every campus. So what you need to do is you need to get into the nitty-gritty and actually talk to the people at a grassroots level and sort of find out what their interests are and get a general idea of like the vibe of the campus. And then what you can do is start to develop different activities based on what they tell you. And it's going to be different on every campus.
Okay, I'll let you all answer that question as well. So keep passing the microphone down, yeah.
Okay, for relevant, I think the best way is to make them addict about the Student Union. What if we just raise the profile of Student Union through engagement, through giving them what they actually need, providing each and every services, so that our Student Union becomes a brand for them. So they just keep remember from the first day they enter in the university till the last day they graduate from here. So that's how we can actually make it relevant. So when they remember BCU, they will remember BCUSU as well.
Excellent.
This is actually one of the points on my manifesto. I think it's quite important that we create like a bespoke kind of presence on each campus, especially on the smaller ones. I'm from a smaller campus, Margaret Street, and there isn't much of a presence at all. I think if it's tailored to the actual place that it's in, then people feel like they can go and talk to that specific place, like part of the SU, and it will actually be relevant to them, so they feel like they're actually getting something out of it. So say for conservatoire, they'll be able to go and talk to people about contacts, so it's kind of being that middle person between everything.
Excellent.
So I think an increased SU presence within all the small campuses in particular. I'm again at City North, so I know there's nothing really going on there. It's really difficult for students to get involved with the Students' Union. So the welcome desks at the moment, they're quite good, but the people that are on them aren't trained to the level that they should be to interact with students from the particular campuses that they're at. So if they were from that particular campus, they would know the issues that are going on and they'd be able to help the students more. So I think that would make the students at the campus be more engaged with the Students' Union because they can actually help them with issues.
Excellent.
I completely agree about the welcome desks. I think they are a really useful thing to have, but we do need, I think they need to have understanding of the individual students a bit better. They try their best, but if they're not from the campus, it's difficult for them. I think we also need to be very careful thinking about the things that we're promising to the students, because whenever people say, oh yeah, we'll get that done for you, and then it doesn't happen, people lose faith. And I think that's really important, because the Conservatoire in particular have been very estranged from the SU over the past, I don't know how many years, and they're only just starting to come back. So we need to make sure that people trust us and believe in what we're saying.
Excellent, thank you very much. They're the candidates for Vice President Student Engagement. Audience over the social media.
Hi, so thanks for the tweets you're sending in, by the way. Hashtag BCUSUOTES and Scratch Media Week. Hashtag Scratch Media Week, can't forget that. But Vicky Glynn, talking to you, you've been going hard on Twitter, I'm not gonna lie. So she was the one that was talking about the failed bus trial, and she's still tweeting. Not that I'm annoyed, I'm just saying you're still tweeting. The failed bus trial cost the SU 50,000. Would this money not be spent better elsewhere, considering the service wasn't used? And somebody else said that that FLIS is pushing for a inter-campus. I do know what I'm talking about, don't worry. Inter-campus bus when the trial failed. Why would you push for it again if it's already failed? That's basically what they're saying. I know we can all talk about the buses, can't we? Don't you have a say? Go for it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's unrealistic, personally. Sorry, because it didn't work last time, and I think it would be better to put the money into other services. It has been one of the things that's contributed to quite a large deficit for the Student Union. So I think it's better to try something else, at least for now, and maybe try it again in the future if we can get more people involved, more interested.
So I'm part of a BCU sports team, so I've got first-hand experience of the bus services, and they didn't work because people weren't using them enough as they should be. Like Emma said, I think the money should be used for engaging students, going to them instead of them having to come to us. I mean, it should be every campus by themselves. Like, they should be their own community. They shouldn't have to come into city centre to get that.
Well, obviously I disagree. The main reason being because obviously it hasn't worked in the past, and it did become something that wasn't particularly right for those people at that time. But I think students obviously change along the years, and I think that being from a small campus and actually speaking to people from all the different small campuses, I think it would actually be really successful this year and the year coming. I think it's because mainly being at Margaret Street and I'm an art student, I need to come into Parkside and into Curzon to use the creative kind of workshops and things like that, and I know a lot of people do, the same as jewellery, the same as photography, and other people need to go out and use specialist equipment elsewhere. I know it's quite specialised for creative people, but also it could be brought in for societies and different things like that. And I think there's no point in saying that it won't work because it hasn't worked in the past, because I think it should be something that should be considered to try again.
Felicity's right. Just because something didn't work in the past doesn't mean it can't work the next time, even if it's done exactly the same way. It just depends how you go about it, kind of promoting it and things. What I would say is, it's a shame that it hasn't worked in the past. I think it's a bit too soon to try it again, if you know what I mean. I think that we could better try to make the parity between campuses a bit better, so that we can have facilities that maybe you would want to travel to use on the campus that you were in the first place. That could be another way of going about it.
I agree with her, and actually I agree with both of all of them, that every student needs something different. Some students specifically needs a transport for which we can start a transport, and for some students who need something else, we can actually improvise this facility. Maybe some students ask for security, because I know there are some students from Conservatoire, they are quite worried about their security. So we can spend that amount to provide the security. And for the students who ask for the this transfer facility, we can dedicate that transfer facility to them as well. So it's all about what actually student needs and how we are going to improvise it. Thank you.
So, I have a lot to say. The first two, I don't really know your names, I'm not even gonna lie to you. So the first two, how do you react to what they said? As in, just because it didn't work before doesn't mean you shouldn't try again. Because imagine if one of your ideas didn't work and you still wanted to make it work because you know what you did wrong. You know how to fix the problem. How would you fix that? And then the other three, I see what you're saying. However, if something costs that much money, don't you think that you should spend the money elsewhere? If it's going to take that much out of, dude, you don't need to raise your hand. It's cool, we're not in class. If it costs that much money, don't you feel like it's too much of a, it's too much. It's a lot of money. 50,000 is a lot of money. And just take that out the SU and try and do something that didn't work before. You try something new, maybe try something different, maybe a different type of system or something. Obviously, what does I've just got so many thoughts right now. What else did I want to say to you? Oh, and also, don't you feel that people that are telling you that they need it are the people who tend to be the loudest, when it just means that the people that are telling you that they need it, they're the ones that keep reminding you, and it seems like a big issue to you? Do you see what I mean? If you have that agenda, as in, I need a bus service, but then the rest of the people don't, we all don't need it, but you need it, and your friends need it, and it feels like a big issue to you, how do you know that that it'll be useful to everybody who didn't use it before, or who doesn't think they need it? Sorry.
Really quickly with your answers here, because we're pushed for time. So we'll go down the line again.
I'd just like to say I I've not heard a single person at the conservatoire, I might be wrong, but I've not heard a single person ask for a bus service, because there are already good transport links. So I know it's more expensive for you, but I've not heard a single person ask for it. I definitely wouldn't say that just because it hasn't worked, we shouldn't try it again, but it has left, it was very expensive, and I think the money would be better spent elsewhere, improving everyone's experience
Excellent,
here.
thank you very much.
I agree, really. Obviously, like you say, there's no harm in trying again, but probably a different tactic towards it. I would say probably just spend the money better off other places, I'd say.
I think that it would work in a different way, in terms of we try it and not do all the campuses, but kind of work out where this is needed and like accustom the routes and the different things to that. Obviously, if we've got the interest in the first place and we have people behind it and people that actually agree with it, because it's not just Margaret Street where I am. I have heard other people from like smaller campuses. It is smaller campuses, but we feel like we deserve a big say as well to come back into the city centre.
Yeah, just to reiterate what I said before, if you're going to pair us into two groups, I should probably be in that group, because I did say that I thought it was too soon to try again.
I'm not trying to put labels on you guys. Sorry, sorry,
it's fine.
too soon.
Yeah, should I just go stand over there instead?
I mean, if you feel it's necessary, go for it.
I did say that we should spend the money better on increasing the facilities across campuses to make them at the same level, if you know what I mean. Because if there's something that a creative student has to go to another creative campus to use, then why can't you just also have it on that creative campus in the first place?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Good question. And the answer is improvise.
Improvise.
I'm a student of marketing.
Hold on, that's a lot of money to improvise with. I'm just gonna let you know now.
I'm a student of marketing. Re-strategizing is the first thing that we are taught. So okay, just think about practically. Bus service, shuttle service, they didn't work. What if we just get along with a cab service, right? So that
like
student from the BCU, they actually can get a good discount over that, right? This is how we actually save that 50,000. And now that from that 50,000, if we use that amount on other stuff that other students ask for, security, food, because I know many students, they ask for more food. What if providing better facility in accommodation? For that we can use that money. So improvise.
Okie dokie. I got you.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
with you,
Ladies
babe.
and gentlemen, give it up for the candidates for Vice President Engagement. Thank you very much. Right, we are moving on now. We are going to invite the part-time officers onto the stage. The students here are from the categories. We've got the women's officer here, and these roles are carried outside along education and their course, and focuses on the different areas.
Students from these areas are given support and guidance, and where there are queries are answered, I'm assuming. Just saying. We are giving each student from this category 30 seconds to elaborate on their manifestos and tell us all how they will do it. Well, I mean, how she'll do it.
So we'll invite onto the stage the Women's Officer, Fiona, well, the candidate running for Women's Officer, Fiona. Your 30 seconds starts now.
So the reason I decided to run for Women's Officer is because I recently read a very shocking statistic that last year it was predicted that we will eventually get gender equality by 2095. But after 1 year of research, the progress has slowed down, and that's been pushed back by 40 years. That's not very good for women. And obviously, women are 50% of the population of the planet. And I feel like even just on a university level, if we can boost the and promote more women's campaigns.
I'm going to have to cut you off there. But what we would like to know is what sort of campaigns, if elected, would you like to do?
Well, I remember in my first year when I came, I had a photo shoot with women's hockey, and it was the I Heart Consent campaign. And obviously, especially online, that's a really big thing. And because the discussion about it stopped, I feel like that's one of the things that halts the progression of raising awareness of how consent's really important, and that that's really important for safety of women on campus. It's obviously important for men as well, but it's been a bigger problem for women in that 1 in 7 students all over the country have been victims of sexual assault and violence. And so I feel like if we bring back campaigns similar to that and really boost the discussion within campuses, raise awareness, have people standing there, just even if it's giving out leaflets, talking to women, talking to students of all kinds, not just the young ones, but the older ones, postgrads, international students, then we can really make a change by just having the discussion. That's more important than actively going out and trying to make a change, because even if it's just on people's minds, that's going to make all the difference.
Excellent. Oyen is on the floor.
Yeah, on the floor. Like, that just blew me away. So, anybody got a question? Am I in the right section? Hello.
Hi.
Here you go.
Hi, my name is Nabila. You said we should engage and have more discussions than going out and campaigning or be more active, but we do that a lot. We sit down, we tweet about this stuff, we tweet about the inequality, we write about it, we have our mini discussions, but nothing concrete is happening. What practical steps would you take? What campaigns would you, not necessarily campaigns, but what other things would you do that are more practical and effective?
I feel like, especially with women's issues, it's been categorised with radical feminism, and obviously that comes up a lot, and people think, oh, feminism, that's people, you know, who make a point of not wearing bras and all sorts of rubbish like that. But honestly, it's not, and because people are less willing to engage in the discussions. Like, people are very brave in posting their experiences and how they've been discriminated against online and things like that, and they're not taken as seriously. But because people think, oh yeah, it's really difficult to talk about, especially if you haven't experienced it. But I feel like through the campaigns that I want to run, especially, I want to make sure it's not just the women getting involved, it's all the guys on campus, all the lecturers, anyone who is a person should be able to talk about these issues, because at the end of the day, while we're just women, it should be everyone trying to engage in the equality that we are striving for.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're giving it up for our woman officer candidates. Fiona.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Okay, next up, we have the International Students Officer candidates here. They are their role it represents the issues related to the international students. So each of them will have 30 seconds to pitch themselves to you. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi everyone, my name is Roshni. I'm a home student and I'm running as the International Students Officer. The reason I'm trying to take this role on is I have many international friends. I've been at this university for 2 years and I've got experience of this country as well. My parents come back home from India, so I've got double experience. I've got experience from people back there and I've got experience with people here. I just want all the international students to come here. I want it to be a friendly atmosphere for them. And I just want them to mix in with the home students.
And that is your 30 seconds up. Thank you very much. We'll invite the second candidate for international students. They feel free to come on stage and we'll get your 30 seconds as well. So your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm Kanati, running for International Student Officer. So basically, like, I just want to breach language barriers that limit international student studies by improving current programs, so creating new ones, empower international students and build more confidence in both their personal and professional lives, create opportunities where international students in BCU can learn each other's cultures and close the social gaps that hinder personal development, a relatable system where issues faced by
that's
international
your 30 seconds up, I'm afraid. I do have a question for both of you, and I'll let you answer it first. How do you plan on working with the university to develop International Orientation Week, integrating students into the BCU community?
Okay, that's a good question. Last year I was actually one of the buddies of an International Orientation Week as well. So it was interesting, but the problem with that is it's a temporary thing. Like, the energy was great, it was temporary, and it's not when it's done with, everyone just goes to their separate campuses, and that relationship that we established in the week doesn't carry on. So I just want to improve that by creating, I'm an open-minded person, just create a very open arms for everyone to bring their ideas, and I've got plans as well too.
Excellent. And how about yourself? How do you plan to work with the university on International Orientation Week?
I was also a buddy this year in September. So, as he said, we had this event for 1 week. It was 5 days. It was fun and games. There was loads of different activities for the international students. And then after that, people were in their own places. A lot of students, I became friends with them. made a lot of contacts, and they used to say to me that I don't know what I'm doing, like, you know, I don't know where I'm going. So obviously I just want the buddy group that was there during International Week is there all the time for them. If they need any help, if they need anything, we're always there for them. So obviously I want to create like sessions where they can come in, they can speak to the buddies, that they could, like, maybe once a month or something like that, they could come in, they can say that this is going on, all of the buddies can help them out. So like you just stay in touch with them basically. Also create events like sports events and like activities for them as well, to just make them interact and get them involved.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the candidates of our International Students Officer. Right, next up, we are going to be discovering more about the candidates who are running for VP Experience. This role works to improve experiences at the university welfare to all. We will...
Everyone else. This is the... Bro, so... I know... over 5 years and make sure to improve the media.
Floor, is anybody got...
reduce. We can do things like a student-led move. I really believe, like, being a student, we can lead this movement. Why not, like, within each class, we have, like, certain IT representative, just matches them. We know certain people, they've got very good IT skills. So what I believe is we can go hand in hand. So instead of, obviously, we are in the university, we do rely on services, but I think hand-in-hand approach will really help us to be, like, there. Thank you so much.
Excellent. And George, would you also like to answer this question as well?
Sure, yeah. So you're all paying your course fees. So a lot of us are paying £9,000 a year. I think the university should give you a first-rate service. You're paying to be here. It's not acceptable that things like this are crashing, the IT services are crashing. Yeah, it's good that we have a NAS desk and services that you can go to help. I want more accessibility to that. Part of one of my manifesto points is improving the media departments across the Students' Union, and I think through online portals we can discuss and make the university aware that everyone's having issues with this sort of IT problems, and I think we can do a lot more so you're getting the most out of your money.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the candidates for VP Experience. Oyen, how can everybody else tweet in for the rest of the show?
Hashtag BCUSUOTES. Hashtag Scratch Media Week on the Twitter. That's pretty much it, guys.
Thank you very much. Right, the Vice Presidents for Development are up very, very soon. But is there any other questions that we have from you?
Glad, because I've been waiting for this. So, first of all, Jazzpreet, is that your name? Yes. You said you have a dream. Yes. Could you reiterate that dream so we can...
Thank you so much.
No problem, I got you back.
I feel blessed I got this time. You know what? I'm an international student from India.
What was your dream, my friend?
I have a dream to have that table, like every table in the university, where an Indian student or Asian student, say with the Chinese student, with the black student and white student, they share with each other. They share their values, their cultures with each other.
I'm gonna have to pause you, my friend. Okay. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna have to pause you.
Happy BCU.
So I get your dream. Yeah. However, and I'm not firing shots, I'm just gonna let you know, maybe you should like branch out, because like what you just described is my friendship group. So I don't know where this dream is. Like maybe, do you know what? No shots fired. Maybe you should wake up. Because it's happening.
How shall I say? I will give you an example of my class.
But maybe it seems a bigger issue. I said this before. Maybe it seems a bigger issue to you because it's you. Like, if it's like the Truman Show, you're looking at everything through your own glasses, through your own eyes. Like, it feels like it's your world. But then you never know. Somebody else might be having a great time. Maybe it might. You finish. You say your point, and I'll talk.
How shall I say? I think that person is already at that level. I really appreciate like you've got that group, but certain groups like how shall I, when I enter my class, what I see is Asian students. They sit with Asians, black with black, white with white, and they don't have those kind of things which lead them to talk to each other. Obviously, like for example, different. Like for example, we can have like different events. Like last year with Ghost Race, we celebrated Diwali, first time ever in history of BCE. Why can't we celebrate Eid? Why can't we celebrate like Chinese New Year, etc., a student-led movement, so that we can come together and after that just have that dialogue about each other?
James and George, would you like to just sort of really, really quickly explain sort of your dream? What do you hope? Jaspreet's told us his. What do you think?
Well, our strategic plan at the Student Union was actually to have a positive impact on every student's life while at university, and I can't see why that can't happen. The Student Union plays a massive role in someone's university experience, and we offer so many services. So really, I just want every student out there to really get involved in whatever way it may be, whether it's with our voice office, whether it's with our development opportunities office, whether they do just need the advice from our advice centre. My dream is just to get everyone engaged with the Students' Union and to have the best university experience possible.
Excellent. And George?
So the way I look at it, the role of student experience is to stand up for your rights and welfare, health and well-being. My main dream, my goal that I would really want to achieve if voted in, is to really tackle this mental health issue among students. There was an NUS survey in December that suggested that 78% of students could be suffering. Our Students' Union doesn't have an individual service that you can go to. You can go to the university for counselling, but I think it should be the way around. I think the university should be sending people to the Students' Union, which is an entity that exists to protect you as a student. So I want to really tackle that issue, setting up mental health clinics and departments in every campus across all of BCU. Alongside that, obviously your rights as a tenant. Thousands of students every year have issues with tenancy laws and their tenancy rights. A lot of students don't know who to turn to in that instance if they have got a deposit issue or a maintenance issue. Again, I want them to be able to come to the Students' Union, someone approachable, easy to find, where they can turn to and ask for and seek help.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the candidates for Vice President Experience. Thank you very much. The next people that we are going to hear from are the Vice Presidents for Development. Their purpose is to increase involvement, encourage and improve employability and volunteering, and enable students to fulfil creative ideas. The candidates will have 30 seconds as before, so we will invite them on now, and then Alex will start her 30 seconds. So we have 6 candidates. Alex, your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex and I'm running for Vice President Student Development, and basically my main aim is to have a greater cooperation between the university and the Student Union. The Student Union provides so many services and I think it's best that everyone knows about them. I'm here to support people in creating new societies. I want to change the first of Employability Week so it's across all campuses and everyone feels ready to go out into the world when they finish uni, because that's what it's all about. So go on my Facebook page to find out more.
Passing it down the line, and let's hear from you. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi, my name is Jeff, and my main aims for going for development role is because I want to try and create more opportunities for students to engage in one another, because I think the best way for students to engage is to interact in activities where they have interest in. Secondly, I want to try and get accreditation for the work you do throughout your university experience. Because, for example, you might get involved in loads of volunteering work, but I want to get you that accreditation that proves to you when you go to employers saying, this is what I've been doing, and the certificate given through by BCUSUOTES, provided by Jeff, can provide you with the accreditation that you can actually sell to employers.
And that's your 30 seconds as well. Jack, your 30 seconds starts now.
I'm Jack Harrison. I'm running for VP Development as well. My 3 main aims are, firstly, to get an international volunteering team together, which would help with pre-established charities such as Impact Africa and World Project. My second one is to set up a team of students and people within the SU that can help with placements, internships and any problems that you're having whilst out there. My third one is to get a digital advertising space in every campus so that sports teams can provide information about training times, events and anything else coming up. If you want to think different, think Jack.
Excellent, and that's your 30 seconds. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Yeah, my name's Nick. So with the development, it's all about getting students involved and engaged within the SU. So as a student who in his first year didn't actually have anything to do with the SU, I really got an understanding about the difference compared to then and now. As now I'm being with rugby, the vice president, I have like a big understanding of just how it can change your university experience for the better. So I've got quite good knowledge in it.
Excellent, that's your 30 seconds. Let's keep going down the line. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, hi, I'm Josh. I believe you should get more and be more you. I will introduce an inclusivity fund for all sports teams and societies. So if you're experiencing financial hardship or there's something stopping you from getting involved, you can apply for funding. Also, I want to introduce an enrichment program with short courses, and also I want to improve your employability by building partnerships directly with local
I'm
employers.
going to have to stop you there, I'm afraid, because that's your 30 seconds. Last but not least, your 30 seconds starts now.
I'm Karen Viashergo. I'm running for VP Student Development, and what I want to try and achieve is making societies join together, so making everyone a big happy family, so making events, raising fundraisers, putting funding into smaller societies accounts so they could raise their profile, and being one big happy family. In terms of employability, I want to create student fairs, get careers, get businesses in, so students can see what the real world's out there. Volunteering is important as well, so everyone gets experience as well as a graduate degree.
And that is your 30 seconds. Ian, any questions from the floor?
Okay, here you go. It's you again.
Okay, so we've heard that development looks at supporting societies and sports teams, but how do you plan to help those that are wanting to go into volunteering work?
That was good.
So obviously I want to look into societies and employability. Employability is a big factor. I want to try and work with different societies, so there's loads of opportunities in the student union, but it's not publicised enough. Creating opportunities, so like Scratch Me, they tend to post a lot of things so you can get involved with them. Also working with David Bond in Millennium Point, creating some work experience, getting some business in so they can provide information about how you can get involved with businesses, get some work experience and make your CV a lot better and make yourself a lot employable.
Excellent. Josh?
I believe volunteering is really important, and I know this better than anyone because volunteering helps me get my first ever job. So if you elect me as your VP Student Development, I will work directly with you to find a volunteering placement that is tailored to your needs and your skills, so you get your dream job when you leave uni. It's way more than just a degree these days at uni. You really need to build your CV, and I believe I have the life experience and the skills to help you do that.
Excellent.
So we're in Birmingham, so there's plenty, this is a huge city, so there are plenty of businesses. There's no reason why we can't get these businesses involved with the university and get some form of volunteering sessions going on, different programs, etc. It's just a case of finding out what different people want, different aspects, different sort of career paths, etc. And like you say, it just gives people the opportunity to really develop CVs and potential job employment.
I fully agree with what Josh said actually about how university degree isn't everything about you being at university. And one of my main manifesto points is the fact of setting up an international volunteering team that will work. So say if I was running it, I'd help other students set up a team and then working with pre-established charities such as Impact Africa, World Project and more. I've had a look at all these projects already. Impact Africa, for example, it's really customizable to each person. You could do a week, you can do 2 weeks. If you're a nurse, you could go out during your annual leave. If you're just a normal university student, has normal weeks and hours, then you could look at doing it out in the summer. It's a great opportunity. I went out when I was 17 years old to Uganda for a month. Best experience of my had in my life. And I think that it's about time BCU had something like it to offer to all students out there.
Yeah, I think getting involved in volunteering work is massively important to getting employment. I believe the best way to do that is get involved with loads of stuff. But my main reason is to give accreditation for the student actually getting involved with the volunteering stuff. So when you go up to employees, you can look them in the face and tell them, I actually got my experience and this is how I can prove it because I got my accreditation to prove it. And also, do I have my degree? So what do not make me a best candidate for the job? So as I said, getting volunteering work is massively important because believe it or not, the experience you would gain, you'll be able to show it through the accreditation that I'm going to try and get you, that you can prove to employers that I'm actually the right candidate for the job.
Excellent.
I believe so much in the role that volunteering has to play after we finish university. I have experience volunteering abroad and here in our local community. I would address this in two ways. The first way is that the BCU alumni is full of such great people, people who own businesses, who have companies, and it would be great to get them back for networking opportunities, and people could maybe talk of internship, volunteering, and it's not just one way you could volunteer. You can volunteer in a number of different roles. It's not just the usual going abroad. You can be a media marketing volunteer, so there's many different ways we can do that. The second thing is I'm really into supporting new societies. I think the SU is a great way for people to get involved by by starting up your own society. You can show that you can do something on your own. That's a way of volunteering, and by maybe being in a committee in a society, by even like we're doing, taking part in a part-time role. That's what I want to encourage people to engage with the student union, because that's also a way of volunteering.
Excellent. I have a little question that I would like to ask you is, what does development mean to you? And Nick, would you like to start off with answering this question, please? So what does development mean to you?
To me, it's all about the students' just involvement. And development is exactly what it is. It's developing people's personal skills, whether it's through volunteering or through teamwork in a society or a sports team. So just getting students involved, people who might not necessarily want to or not confident enough, getting those sort of people into the sort of clubs and building confidence. I mean, I know that being part of my society has really just, especially over this last year, has really built on my personal confidence. Just because before I am like naturally quite shy, and this just being part of rugby is really, and having a committee role has really brought me out of my shell and brought me on a lot further.
Would you like to tell me what development means to you?
Yeah. So Nick just makes some great points. Developing yourself, developing as a student. Coming to university is a really scary experience. Talking from first year going to third year, I didn't start going into the society. I joined men's hockey in my second year, and joining that made my experience a lot better. Going into committee, being a more social person, getting out there, seeing what people want from the society, and I don't see why not. I can broaden that out. So I want to see what students want, if it's employability, if they want businesses coming in, if it's voluntary work. I want student voices to be heard, and I really don't see why the students can't develop if they want the help they need.
Okay. And Jeff, would you like to tell me what development means to you? We'll just pass the microphone down to you. Yeah, what does development mean to you?
I mean, development to me personally means giving the student a chance to progress in their career path or any sort of activity they want to get in. For myself, for my first year, I was just involved in just doing loads of activity. Now I'm just the president of the men's football. That is something that I call development, because I just went from a normal student to being involved in activities and developing developing as a person and being able to be involved in loads of activities. So now saying development to someone is saying I actually went from just being a student to the president of men's football, and that is just being through getting opportunities and getting involved with societies and just doing loads of volunteering work, which, as I mentioned, is very, very important in getting employment, which I believe should be a massive.
Okay. Josh, what does development mean to you?
I believe development is being the best you can be. It's getting the best opportunities, and it's getting the best skills. I believe there's nothing that you can't overcome, and there's nothing you can't achieve. The only thing I haven't been able to achieve is to walk. So if you vote me to be your student development, I'll make sure you leave university with all the skills and you're fully developed to succeed in your future world of work and life.
What does development mean to you?
Development to me pretty much means everything. Like, in my first year, I didn't enjoy my course. I wasn't really getting on with it at all, and I was ready to kind of move on and try and do something else. But then I found Extreme Sports Team. I had people that helped me through quite a lot, and without development being in place with the Students' Union, I don't think any sports teams will be able to give the support to students that they need. I find sports teams and societies are good for the fact that it gets people active, gets people healthier and all that, but it's also there as it's a background to who you are. You have a family at university. Like, for me, Extreme Sports has been where I've lived for the last 3 years of my life. I'm now the president of it, I run it, and I try and bring this to every person that comes into my society. As on top of that, I think without development, people won't get the opportunity to go out and do volunteering work, going out, travelling whilst they're at university in their time off. Wouldn't also have the opportunities and the skills to get into jobs that should be available to them that currently aren't. That's me.
And Alex, what does development mean to you?
Just like to echo what everyone was saying, it's all about change, progressive change. And I believe, as most of us would say, in our first year, second year, we weren't really into societies, we weren't engaging with the student union. I feel like it's all about what you can do, student-led activity, and it doesn't have to be joining a society. It might be putting on events, putting on campaign. I think it's really about changing as a person. That's the way you think. So engaging in ideas, opening platforms to talk and to debate ideas out. I think that's what university is about, going to see how people think, how different people's ideas are, and learning from other people, which is why I think it's very important to create a platform for new societies. And I will, like I say, I'll be here for you. If anyone has an idea, a campaign they want to do, I'm really big on that. Activism, social change, I think that's what development is for a student.
Before we go back to Oyen, I have one more question that I would like you to answer is, what do you see the role entailing if elected? Jack, I'll let you answer this question first.
I feel like the role would entail making sure that I'm always there for any student that wants to get involved in more sports or societies, in volunteering work, or even if they're struggling, trying to find employability, like if they're looking for internships, placements, and there isn't support there. I want to be that person that's there for them, that is the support. I'm going to be working off an open door policy, so I'll happily let anyone talk to me at any point. And if I'm busy, I'll try and make that time for people. That's what development means to me.
Josh, same question to you, is what do you see the role entailing if elected?
I believe the role is all about getting the best for the students. It's representing the students, understanding what they want and what they need. And I will work with them to make sure they get all the best opportunities. They leave universities with all the skills they need. And if they have any problems or any concerns, they can come to me anytime. And like I said before, there really is no problem or challenge that can't be overcome.
Jeff, same question to you, is what do you see the role entailing if elected?
I believe the role is basically just to help students so that when they go to the real world, they know what to expect. Being myself, knowing that you gain experience from doing stuff like getting involved with societies, sports, any sort of volunteering work, you are not only just preparing yourself for the real world, but then when you go to employers, you can actually tell them what you've been up to, and they want to know what you've been up to, because at the end of the day, they want to know you as a person. And by getting involved with activities like that, not only can you have stuff to talk about, but then get an accreditation for all the stuff, you can actually prove to them what you've been up to as well, yeah.
Okay. Nick, same question to you, is what do you see the role entailing if elected?
Well, I think personally it goes a lot further than just the support societies. There's a lot more to it. But as far as the sports society is concerned, I want to be that sort of person that's there to help them, because the sports society isn't just a team where you turn out and you play on a Wednesday. You know, there are committees. You know, they organise events, they organise charity stuff. You know, I want to be that person who helps support, helps them make the best of the experience, the time they can, and with the tools that they've got. Yeah.
Alex, what do you think the role entails if elected?
I think it will involve three things. The first one being encouraging creative ideas, which is what I'm all about with supporting youth societies. I want people to have their interests heard, what they want, their ideas to be heard and to be shared throughout the university. The third thing is obviously student-led activities, which is all to do with societies, and I'll be more than happy to help anyone, all the societies, whatever they need. That's what the role will need me to do. And the third thing is about enhancing prospects, and that's why on my manifesto it says I want to change Employability Week. I want that to be available on all campuses, and I feel like that's what it will involve, helping people so that they're prepared for after they finish uni, they feel like they can go out into the world and they're employable.
And let's go all the way to the end, because the way the draw went earlier this week is we're going to pass the microphone down. What does the role? What do you think the role entails if elected?
Well, going back to the previous question, it's just developing students. Coming into university, you want to develop as a human being. You want to develop your skills. You want to develop your knowledge. You want to develop experience. I want to be that body, just to be there to just support you, even if it's just individually, even if it's part of a society, even if it's through like courses. If you're not happy, if you want to be developed, if you want to enjoy experience, come out of BC saying, yeah, I came to BC, I enjoyed my experience, I've got some volunteering underneath, I know what I'm doing, I know what direction I want to go, and that's what the job entails, just develop the students into something that they can be.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the candidates for VP Development. Let's see what's going on in social media, Oyen.
So, Uni Loony Lass has been tweeting like mad. And there's a clear theme between all the tweets. Tends to be either volunteering or sports. One of the tweets is there a need for development in sports? Many are excluded by finances, commitments, work and disability. What does everybody think about that?
Yeah, what do you think about that really, really quickly, because we are pushed for time.
Yeah, I know there's within sports, student development is a big push for sports teams and so on, but obviously getting involved in sports teams, you don't really have to do. You can create societies like tailor-made to people. So some students struggle to get to Perrybar and back. We can set up societies in city centre, like make things tailored to them. If they want to get active with the student union, if they want to develop, then that's completely fine with them. And we'll be there to support. If not, then we can't really do nothing about it. Their student voice is what matters to us.
Okay, Josh.
This is exactly why I want to introduce the Inclusivity Fund. If there's a reason why you can't get involved with a sports game or a society meeting, such as financial hardship, or you have a disability, you can apply for funding from the Inclusivity Fund to enable you to take part. And it's open to every single student, whether or not you have a disability or you don't think you have financial hardship. Everyone is able to apply.
Development isn't really just about sports team. It's just about societies in general. And like you said, if you you can't take part in a particular society, sports team, whatever, then everybody's got interests, and there are how many thousand students in this university. If you want to make a society, you can pretty much bet there is someone else that's in this university that will want to do it too. And if you then come to the SU, then development are going to be right behind you to help you build that and do what you want to do to enjoy your time here at BCU.
I kind of agree with the fact that obviously there is a lot of times that people can't get into sports and societies, and I believe, if I'm remember correctly from the question, is sports and societies worth being as part of development? I believe it is, but as an equal part to the other two tiers of it, of volunteering and employability. That's why in my manifesto I've made sure that the 3 different points I've made are about 3 different things, the 3 things of the role. And I want to make sure that the time of the development person is equally split out between these 3 things. That's
So personally I think, because in terms of developing sports, there's companies, private funding that is available to all sort of sports society if they really wanted. Because I know from experience that being involved with sports societies and the society myself, there's loads of companies out there willing to support students or any sort of society just by just sponsoring them and giving a bit of financial support. So as you said, that's not a limitation. That just means that you should look a bit further, because there's companies out there that are willing to give students the opportunity to actually sponsor them and just give them that financial bit of support so that they can develop.
I think that sports and being active is very important, and everyone should be able to take part in it. And like we've all said, the student union is there for us, and there are resources available to support people to do whatever they want to do, if it's creating a new society or if it's maybe having accessible programs for different people. But I think the main thing that I would push for is getting people to know this, getting students to know that such resources are available, getting students to know that this is what the SU can do for you, and that you don't have to say, oh, I can't make it to something, so I'm not going to do it. So it's all about getting the people to be aware of what the student union is doing, which I think answers the question.
Excellent. Thank you very much to everybody, all the candidates for VP Development. And thank you, Oyen, for that question as well. Right, we have one more lot of candidates to grace our stage today, and they are, of course, the candidates for President of the Students' Union. As the front of the Students' Union and somebody who sits on the Board of Trustees, the President deals with all higher education's issues. We have 3 candidates in total. 2 of them are here today, and each of them will have 30 seconds, as usual, as throughout the whole show, to pitch themselves. So let's welcome them onto the stage. And Joe, you have 30 seconds, and your 30 seconds starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm Jo Goodman, your current VP voice and your candidate for president. My manifesto addresses the transparency of tuition fees, the need for a bigger push on student safety, and an active partnership with the council to make student voice heard regarding a number of issues across the city. In addition, this has been a huge year for higher education. The government's controversial Green Paper, the scrapping of the maintenance grants, the cutting of the disability students allowance, and the proposed plans to fine students if they don't pay back their loans. With a wealth of experience and knowledge from this year, you can trust me as your elected president.
Sorry, but that is your 30 seconds. So, Amelia, same thing to you. You have 30 seconds, and your time starts now.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm an international postgraduate and art student, and as president, I want to ensure that the atypical student like I am, as well as home students, equally have the best experience at BCU. I want to foster a sense of belonging that allows students to feel like an agent in making their own academic and social lives what they want them to be. I worked professionally before returning to uni for my master's degree, and it's made me organized and detail-oriented, so I'm fully prepared to take on this enormous responsibility with hard work, dedication, and a great sense of humor. Thank you.
And that is your 30 seconds as well. Oyen is on the floor. Let's see what we have. Any questions from the floor?
Come on, guys. It's your last question. Make it count. Or not, I'm guessing then. No? Okay. Maybe I'll come up with a question. So, as you're both females, women, how do you see, when it comes to women's rights and the women's officer, how do you see yourself giving them an equal playing field? How do you see yourself... Actually, you know what? Scrap the question. I've got a better question coming to my head. How do you see yourself affiliating yourself with each of the members of the student union? Because everybody's got different views. Some of them will probably clash. How do you see yourself being a mediator between everybody?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. I think something that is really important to me being a theater practitioner and an actor is that you work a lot in an ensemble. So always in a cast, you've got a lot of people who have a lot of differing ideas, and in the end, you've got to put a show together that people hopefully will pay money and come and see. And so a lot of what happens in a rehearsal room is compromise. It's you as an actor working with a director deciding what you want to do, and I think that skill is entirely transferable to running an executive team like this one. I'm very willing to hear ideas. I think it's all about coming to a compromise that everybody can agree on. And I think the most beautiful thing is that people do have a lot of opinions. And if we can take the time to sit down and really suss them out, then we have an opportunity to really make a change that's positive for everybody.
Joe.
In terms of working with all the elected officers, they will bring a variety of opinions and morals and values to the team. But the thing is that if you vote for your officers, you will elect them into the position and they are there to represent you. They are there not to represent themselves, but they represent the students of BCU. So if you feel like you've got an officer in the student union that's only there for their own political values or anything like that, then you need to be able to hold them to account. But I do completely appreciate that everyone has their own opinions on a lot of things, but as president, you're there to make sure that each vice president makes that role their own and puts their own stamp on it and not following the previous footsteps of their predecessor. So it's just really valuing what everyone has to say and not turning it into sort of like a battlefield, really. Everyone needs to have an equal say, and it's a safe space to have those opinions, and SU is. So.
I have some facts and figures here, and what I want to do is I'm going to break them down for you, and I want to get your opinions on them. What do you think of them? Do they need improving? Do we need less, more? And we'll get you to discuss this and debate this out. The first one is there are 400 sports team members. What do you think of that? Do we need more? How do we go about doing that? How do we go about working with the rest of the execs teams to do that?
From my experience as VP Voice, this has been a big topic of the exec team this year. We spend a lot of our money on sports teams, and we do have about 400 members. And when you think out of 24,000 students, that's not really fair. But the thing is, our sports teams are some of the most engaged students in the Students' Union, and they have a fantastic role to play when it comes to elections and holding officers to account and making decisions on behalf of the Students' Union. I do think that if you're not aware, the university are doing a big sport strategy plan, and they're trying to bring in more sport degrees and get more students who are involved in sports into BCU. So I do think over the next few years it's going to be a big priority for both the Students' Union and the university. But I think it's an amazing thing that we have BCU active to engage those students that aren't committed to sports and haven't got the financial money, the financial situation to pay for a sports membership. But I do think sports a great way of making friends and networking and getting out your comfort zone and making the most of university.
Amelia, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's great. I really agree with what Joe said. When you have 24,000 people at a university and only 400 of them are involved, you have to kind of play a numbers game. And so I think the main thing that I would say is, if we're going to focus our money on something like sports, we really want to focus it into something like BCU Active that's about wellness and fitness. So that's encouraging students who aren't necessarily quote, good enough to play on a team to be able to still engage in fitness and a healthy lifestyle. I didn't play sports when I went to undergrad, but I went to a very sports-heavy undergraduate. I went to UNC Chapel Hill, which is where Michael Jordan played basketball, and we were all about sports there, but it was about supporting the teams. So I think that's also something I'd like to look at, is getting more students involved in supporting BCU's sports teams, and if they can't play themselves.
Joe, you spoke then about how there's 400 students, sports team students, and how they're so heavily engaged in student union activities, but there's 24,000 students. So how do you both feel you can engage the other 23,600? Amelia, would you like to go first on that one?
Sure. I think it's a lot about what the executive team is about. So it's a conversation on how we can go to the students and let them know what the SU is about and what it can do for them, regardless of whether it's a sport or society. I go to BSA, the Birmingham School of Acting, which is just here in Millennium Point. So we're not far at all from the sort of center hub of activities, and it still feels like an island unto itself. And so I think what's really important to me is that students feel like they can come to the union with whatever their concerns are, whether it be that they want to start a sports team. Somebody asked me campaigning if we could have an American Football Society, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea, coming from America. But I think that's what it's about, is really having an opportunity to talk to students and see what it is that they're looking for, and that I think can really only be done on a personal level. So that's what part of my manifesto is about, is getting in touch with students one-on-one, and saying, what is it that you're looking for, because that's the only way we're going to really know.
Okay. And Joe, same question to you then.
I think it all starts with making some really tough decisions and actually looking at what the student union does now and see what is it actually working. Are we engaging students? And I think it's good that we've got a law that we can only stand for 2 years, because students change every year, and we need to really focus our energy on finding out what students want each year. The main thing that I would do to engage all students is really enforce the message that they are our boss. And they are actually empowered to hold us to account and make change. And the message that I'd really drill out to students is you're not just here getting a degree, you're not just here paying your tuition fees, but you're here actually working in partnership with the university to make your experience here better. And I think that's how we can really start engaging a lot of students and really enforcing that we're not just going to listen to the students who shout the loudest, but we actually care about those students whose voice isn't heard.
So we've spoken about sports team, 400 members. There are over 1,000 society members. How can we boost that up?
By boosting society members, in my manifesto, it's not one of my 3 priorities, but it's something that's really going to take up a lot of my time if elected. The student union's having a big marketing restructure, and what I'd really want to do is work on a big marketing and communication strategy to actually get out to students what we actually do. A lot of students know about the students union but haven't got a clue what we do, and I think we really need to have a push on finding a way that's not just social media, not just sticking up posters and giving out flyers, but finding a way that how students really want to be communicated with, and actually get out a big promotion of our societies, because we have some amazing societies, but it's that message again that you can start up your own, and students need to take that up and really take ownership of their experience at university.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think what I'm really interested in is finding the intersection of the academic and social life. So I think it's about going to courses, going to classes, and engaging with students and saying, you know, what are you getting, how are you getting your academic needs fulfilled, and therefore how can we fulfill your extracurricular needs? So are you looking for a society that does go alongside your course? You know, if you're an actor, are you looking to join a theater society, or are you an actor who's totally uninterested and wants to join an anime manga society instead? And I think that it's about really getting in touch with students to see where their interests intersect and where they sort of run parallel with each other. And so I think, again, it's about getting in touch with them personally and finding out from them what it is that they want.
So more numbers for you, because I like numbers. There's 500 student academic leaders. Again, there's 24,000 students. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I served as an academic student leader for my course, and I think it's tough because I come from quite a small course, so I was able to be very in touch with the students on my course and their needs. And I think with larger courses, it's really important that the SAL is trained and that they have the initiative to really get in touch with their students personally. And so whether it's about small town council meetings that we set up so everybody on a course can come and sort of vent their needs, or whether it's about an anonymous forum where students can spread their word that they have issues. I think that there are a lot of different ideas, but it's about ensuring that the person who is a SAL is really in touch with the people on their course. So, yeah.
In terms of student academic leaders, I'm just really pleased with that figure this year. We've got a lot of absolutely amazing student academic leaders that sort of work on our behalf, just getting feedback from students and making sure that issues are resolved on a course level. In terms of training and offering them more opportunities, we established our first One City Rep conference this year, so it meant that student academic leaders and school reps are able to meet with the equivalent from University of Birmingham, with Aston, with Newman, and that was a fantastic experience for them to just network and gain understanding of how other universities work and just share best practice. The issue that I think we have with student academic leaders is we haven't got the full buy-in from the university staff. We've got some really engaged students that really are passionate about getting their voice heard and getting other students' voice heard and making change on their course, but we need the staff to actually utilise them and buy into the scheme, and that just still needs further development and further work, I'll be brutally honest. So that will be a priority for me if elected, to work alongside the new voice elect and make sure that we implement a really successful scheme next year. It's been successful this year, but it still needs improvement.
In social media and see what is going on there.
Oh, it's here. So Uni Looney, I don't know why I'm using the mic, but Uni Looney said again, no, I'm loving Uni Looney, it's got some good tweets. Okay, so how do you see yourselves making the difference for BCU? Where do you see us in 5 years? Obviously, you're only here for a year, so where do you see us by this time next year?
Completely different SU. We're undergoing a massive strategic plan review at the moment as an SU, and we're just sort of planning ahead for the next 5 years. And we're making some tough decisions, actually, thinking about what do our students want. Our demographics at BCU are massively changing. Our campuses are massively changing. We're going to have more home students with the government's plans to cut maintenance grants. We're expecting massive change amongst the amount of people coming to university and the different types of students that we're going to get. So we really need to just focus our intentions on what they want and just scrap back to basics, really, and just really get the nitty gritty right before we start doing really flamboyant things. That's what I say.
Amelia.
Yeah, thank you. I think something that I bring and can see myself doing at the student union level is that I am sort of an atypical student, coming from the States, being an arts student, being a postgraduate student. So I've seen the university experience from various levels now, and I was a teacher between the time I was an undergrad and in my degree now. So I kind of have a lot of things to say about sort of all the angles, and I think that similar to what Joe said, that's what's really important, is getting back to the nitty-gritty, going down and seeing what it is that we really need, and then addressing it rather than taking something that's sort of working and trying to improve on it. I'm all for sort of getting back to the basics and figuring out if we can start from the ground up.
So both of you have just said there, starting from the ground up, going back to the nitty-gritty. What skills then do you have to lead the SU as president if elected, to ensure that, I suppose, the ship stays steady during this whole restructure, the going back to the basics?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. I think, a university as well as the Students' Union is a lot of moving parts. So everything is going simultaneously, and you've really got to be able to wear a lot of different hats. And that's something that I've done my entire life. And in my time between being an undergraduate and a postgraduate, I wore lots of different hats. I worked various jobs, and I lived in various places around the world. So I've really engaged with people in various situations. And I feel like I am fully prepared sort of on the professional level as well as the personal level to give myself over to this experience. I came to England because I'm an Anglophile and I love it here and I want to stay. So part of wanting to be president is about that, and sort of seeing something through to fruition. And like I said, I'm an actor, and what we do is always seeing things to fruition. We start with an idea of a production, and then we have a closing night where the curtain falls and people clap. So I think those kind of skills are super transferable to a position like this.
Joe?
Similar to Amelia, looking back this time last year, I was not the typical voice candidate. I came from the Crafty Bitches Society. I didn't have a clue about politics or anything, democracy and that. And all I wanted to do was just get student voice heard and just really just remove all the really long words that was associated with voice and just really make sure that students had the opportunity to make sure their feedback was heard. I'm just so passionate about BCU, and if you know me, that you'll see that. I came to BCU not even knowing that I'd get the grades to get here, and the development that people have seen in me is huge over the 3 years. And I just want to make sure that every student has that opportunity. And in such a large period of transition, with all the government's plans, with what's going on in the university, the transforming the curriculum project, all these things are going to have a massive impact on students. And I really want to be able to see that through and just listen to students. And I'm just so approachable and just a friendly person, and people feel like they can talk to me. Well, I hope they do. I'm not a horrible person. But yeah, and I just think that listening to students should be at the heart of everything, and I'm just so passionate about that.
Oyen, any more questions from social media?
Yes, we do. One says, no, let's not go for that one, actually. Joe kind of touched upon it, but I want to hear what you have to say. How will you make the SU more accountable?
Okay. I think we need to just promote that we can be accountable. I think a lot of students see that we get elected and it's like, oh, that's it, they've got a year to do their job, like, let's just leave them be. No, actually, students are our boss, and I don't think we've ever really enforced that message as much as we should. We'll be, hopefully, at our AGM, we'll be passing a new model for student council, where we will actually be having a scrutiny panel where students can really grill us on what the officers have been doing and really hold us to account. And I think that needs to happen. I think if you as students are making the decision to elect us into position, you should be able to really question what we're actually working on and really question our manifestos. And if we're not acting upon what we promised, then you need to say something, because it's your decision that's put us here, and we really need to enforce that every vote does matter, and every voice counts. So,
Leah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think something that I've learned this year watching Jenny Watkins' work is that she really demonstrates the qualities that the president is accountable to sort of everybody, meaning the student body as well as all of the moving parts of the university. And so I think it's a great line that the students are our boss, and I think the more that we can tell them that, Joe's right, is just the sort of the key to getting them to hold us accountable. I think, again, it is about personally engaging with students and saying, I'm sitting at my desk not doing anything because you haven't asked me to. There's sort of an opportunity there to remind them that they have the power. And I think that's something that every young person wants to know, is that they have the power to make change. And if we can tell them that, then we can really do that.
So how does the SU let these students know about this then? Let them know that they are your boss effectively if elected?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier, which I think is sort of the essential thing, is that sort of at the outset, uni is an educational experience. But of course, we all know that it's not just an educational experience. And if you come and live here, or like me, you come across an ocean or across continents, you know that it's much more than just classes. And so, but I think that's sort of where it all starts, because you are in fact here for the classes. So I think it's about going and engaging with students on an academic level to let them know that every other facet of their life can be taken care of by the SU if they want. We're here to talk to them about accommodation. We're here to talk to them about what kind of food we sell in the shops. So I think it's just about starting there and then letting them know that the SU is separate from the university. So even though we're coming into your classes, we're here as a not-for-profit organization to make your experience better.
Joe?
I think, again, it's just stripping it back to basics and actually going out and talking to students. I think over the last few years, the student unions got very wrapped up in the monotonous routine of this happens this month, this happens the next month. And we've actually lost track of actually going out and talking to students and making them really aware that they are the people that run the students' union. It's called a students' union for a reason. It's not for staff, it's for students. And every student at BCU is automatically a member, and we need to really promote that. I think before the scrutiny panel comes into place and everything happens at AGM, we really need to have a big push on student council again this year. We've already had some amazing numbers, and it's been an improvement on last year, but we really need to make it accessible to all campuses as well. And I think the idea of we need a huge increased presence on each campus. I think we can just become so set in Curzon and stick there, but we need to actually go out to all campuses, and like BSA as well, we can forget about BSA and Millennium Point and Parkside, and just now we're just in a fancy new Curzon building. So we need to actually go out and remember all our students and listen to students.
So just really quickly, can you reiterate your 3 main points, what you hope to achieve if elected in your manifesto?
My 3 main points, following on from a lot of things that I've done this year, which will be continued, I'm moving into the role of president, hopefully, with 3 more priorities. The one is transparent tuition fees. What I find is a lot of students pay their tuition fees and then never have a clue what the money's actually spent on. There is a Freedom of Information Act, which means we can request this information off the university, and a lot of other universities do it where they publish the information of where your money's actually going. We see a lot of new buildings popping up around campus and think, oh, is that what my fees are paying for? But I think we need to actually have the information provided, so there's more transparency and there's more opportunity for you to hold the university to account as well. This is coming back to the idea of empowering students to have a say. So if the university is saying they're spending money on catering and you go to Sodexo and there's like a hair in your food, then you know it's not being spent properly. I think another thing on my manifesto is student safety. There's been loads of cuts to the West Midlands Police in this area, and there's been a few attacks around Curzon and in Perry Bar and City South. The student safety there is a bit worrying. So what I'd quite like to do is work alongside security guards get them to not just sit in the buildings but actually move outside the buildings and make sure students are safe when they're leaving lectures late at night, and also see if we can work alongside our local police contacts to see if we can get part-time PCSOs on patrol on campuses when students are leaving lectures late or in busy periods. The last point on my manifesto is to get a louder voice in Birmingham. The Birmingham City Council are currently undergoing a review of the transport in the city. They are currently undergoing a big housing strategy, and there's loads of other things they work on that has huge impacts on students that have either moved to Birmingham or are just commuting into Birmingham for their studies. And I really want to be able to get student voice on the City Council so that student voice is heard. BCU is one of 4 universities in the city, so it's we need to be able to say that the student opinion has been heard at the council. So when they're making all these big opinions and decisions, they can say they know what impact it's going to have on students. And therefore, we're not only improving the experience that a student's having at the university, but the experience that a student's having in the city, because that's what coming to university is all about. You're having the experience of coming and getting a degree, but it's also that social aspect as well, as you're in a new city, so make the most of it, and it needs to be the best it can be for students. So those are my main 3.
Now, what are your main 3 points?
Thank you. Yeah, my main 3 goals are sort of straightforward and overarching. As an international student coming from quite far away and an art student, as well as a postgraduate, I have this experience that I think is a little bit different. And so I'm interested in ensuring that all students, whether you are a master's from China or a bachelor's from right here in Birmingham, you're having the an equal student experience where you feel in charge of your future. And that's why my second part of my manifesto is about an open door policy. I want people to be able to come and talk to me about anything that they're looking for. I have a great memory for names and faces, so I really like to make friends. So I'd love to meet as many students as I can who are discussing their issues right with me, so that I have an opportunity to follow up on them and then follow up with that student and say, hey, here's what I'm doing for you, Sarah, or you, James. And the last thing is, I think I provide a really specific sort of viewpoint to come from being a person who's on a postgraduate degree and has been a professional. So I'm really prepared to do sort of the tough parts of the job, which are sitting in meetings and going to a lot of these sort of what many undergrads might think of as boring things. I'm really prepared for that, and I'm quite interested and curious to learn about how it all works over here rather than back in the States.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to give it up for the candidates running for president of BCUSU? Right, that is pretty much all we've got time for on the show today. So it's goodbye from me, Jack.
And it's goodbye from me, Oyen. All details for the candidates today can be found at bcusu.com.
BCUSU.com. Voting opens on small campuses this Friday and all other campuses on Monday, so get voting because your vote counts.
You can catch us again bringing you the results live from the Old Crown on Thursday from 8 p.m.
For both of us,
good night.
Goodbye.
Bye. Sorry, y'all. Yeah.